CSS. So CSS is basically cascading style sheets where we are using for giving styles for our web page. And one more thing, CSS is not programming language, not programming language, basically this one. And one more thing is CSS works on top of HTML. And CSS using for apply styles, provide decorations, apply cosmetic changes for HTML is a very important point. And CSS we can able to write for HTML in 3 different ways. The first way is inline CSS. The second way is internal CSS. And the third way is external CSS. So coming to the point, what about inline CSS is for each and every line, for each and every tag, we are going to be writing some CSS that is basically inline CSS. So see the theoretical part. Inline CSS is the element specific CSS. For each and every element, we need to apply CSS individually. It means, for example, if I am writing one tag called H1, for H1 I need to apply CSS separately. For H2 I need to apply CSS. For H3 I need to apply CSS. In that way, if you have 1000 elements, 1000 times also you need to write CSS. See how to write this particular inline CSS. What is the syntax for that? For example, if I am having 3 H1s in my web page, 3 headings in my web page. For these 3 headings, I just want to go for individual style. For example, the first H1 I want in a red color. The second H1 I want in a green color. The third H1 I want in a blue color. See, in this way, you can able to write this inline CSS over here. And coming to the part of internal CSS. When we come to the internal CSS is basically page specific CSS. Page specific. It means what? See, I already told you. Every web application which is going to be having multiple pages. Every web application which is going to be having multiple pages. See, for each and every page, we need to write a CSS individually. For each and every page, we need to write CSS individually. For example, in my application, I'm having 4 pages here. So page 1, I need to write 1 time. For page 2, I need to write 1 time. For page 3, I need to write 1 time. For page 4 also I need to write 1 time. So 4 times we need to write CSS in this way. Got my point? So this is basically called internal CSS. This is basically called internal CSS. So internal CSS, how to write internal CSS is very simple. Inside the page, inside the HTML page only, we need to write a style tag. See, you are writing style tag in header section, or you are writing a style tag before the elements, or you are writing the style tag after the HTML elements. That is your wish. But wherever you want, you can write it inside the HTML, inside the web page only, you have to write it. Got my point? So one simple example I will tell you. One normal general example I will tell you. See, if there is an university or there is one college. For example, if I am taking one college. See here, college is basically an application. If I am taking a college is an application. Then we take a college. And college have multiple branches. This is, people imagine, this is a college. Okay, any college you take. Okay, some CMR college, Malaradi college, whatever the college you take from Hyderabad I'm taking. So from this college, in this college, there are multiple branches. In this college, there are multiple branches. Like in this college, we have a branch called IT. In this college, we have a branch called CSC. In this branch, in this college, we have a branch called EEE. And in this college, we have a branch called ECE. Okay. For each and every branch, for example, if I go for IT branch, we will be having 100 students or 120 students. And even in CSC, we will be having 200 students. Students are nothing but elements. In EEE branch, I have 250 students. Okay. In ECE branch, we have only 100 people. Okay, so in this college, we will be having multiple branches here. See, imagine this college is something like application. College is something like your complete application. Your application is a college. Each and every branch we have, IT branch is there, and CSC branch is there, and Triple E branch is there, and one more is ECE branch is there. Each and every branch, imagine an individual web page. This is the web page. This is the web page, and this is the web page. All these web pages are under application, college. Application means all these branches under the college, all these web pages under application. Imagine like this. Imagine like this. Web page. Every branch is a web page. Okay. So here for this first web page, IT branch first web page, I am trying to writing 120 times CSS, that is inline. Individually for each and every student we are writing CSS. Individually for each and every student we are writing CSS. That is basically called inline CSS. No, if I want to write a style branch wise, for example, IT branch one dress code, CSC branch another dress code, EC branch another dress code, and Triple E branch separate dress code, EC branch separate dress code. This is something like page specific CSS. Only for this IT branch, we will be having a separate style sheet. No, sir, we will be having a common dress code for a total college. We will be having common dress code for the total college. That is something like external CSS, which is applicable for all the branches at the same time, all the elements. You got my point? How we can able to understand about inline, internal, and external. Is there any questions about it? Is there any questions and queries about it? Like inline, internal, external. Then further, further concept we will do. Yeah, come to the point here. Internal CSS will be creating using with the style tag. We know that style tag open, style tag close. Wherever you want, we can write the tag. And style tag always contains selectors. This is the important point. I already told you. Style tag always having selectors. But inline CSS, there is no concept called selector. Because of inline CSS is individual for each and every element. There is no concept of selector. Selector is something like a unique selection. You may select a tag, you may select by a tag name, you may select by a class name, you may select by a ID name, you may select by a group of elements. Something like a selection identity. That identity called a selector. Okay, so what is a selector and how to write selector? We already done. Selector is selecting similar or non-similar elements from HTML to CSS. Selector is reference from HTML to CSS. This is the one more point. Selector is something like a reference. Reference, what kind of reference it is? Maybe it is a kind of tag name. Okay, so what kind of references? Okay, I will let you know. By tag name, by class name, by ID name, by a group, by group of elements. Okay, so something like all even number, all odd number, or nth child selector, nth child. See, there are multiple kind of selectors we will be having. There are multiple. I will write down all the selectors for you. That is not a big issue. But try to understand what is selector first of all. Try to understand what is selector first of all. Then you can write a selector in the internal CSS. Then you can write a selector in the external CSS also. Okay, coming to the point, syntax for selector. What is the selector? How to write a selector? Here, I am clearly writing selector 1. And what are the different attributes you want? You can write it. For selector 1, I want to write multiple attributes. All these attributes under curly braces. Curly braces are mustache braces or flower braces, whatever it may be. And the name, some people are calling curly braces. Some people are calling mustache braces. Some people are calling flower braces, whatever it may be. But syntax is important for you. First selector, second selector, third selector. Like this, n number of selectors it may be contained with. Like this, there are n number of selectors you can write inside the style tag. That is about internal CSS. Okay, coming to the point, external CSS. Third one is the very important thing, external CSS. External CSS is something like application specific CSS. A separate file we need to create for that. The file extension also .css format. The complete application works with a one CSS file. The complete application means all web pages working with one CSS file. One more important simple point I will add. It means all web pages works with or contained with. Works with or contains with one CSS file. One CSS file. Whatever it may be, the name of the file you want, you can write a file.css or style.css. It may be the name of the file is your wish, but extension is important. Extension is .css, you can write capital or you can write small. Better people write small letters. .css compulsory. Okay. Now coming to the next point, external CSS file linking to the HTML in the below syntax. What is the syntax? To link the external CSS to the HTML. So link relevant style sheet. Href is the important attribute. Remember here href is the important attribute, and file name whatever you have, that file name as a value, it could be available with the single quote or double quotes. You can provide single quotes or you can provide double quotes, that is okay. But the file name as a value for the href. Href is an attribute name for the link tag. Href is the important attribute for the link tag. Without href attribute, link tag will not be worked out. Without href attribute, link tag will not work out. Remember. Okay, I have three files actually. File 1.html, file 2.html, file 3.html. All these files contains with or linking with single CSS file. What a CSS file name is? Here it is style.css. Inside the style.css, you may have a number of selectors as usual. For all the first group, I want to go with the one selection. For all the group 2, I want to go with the one other kind of selection. For all the group 3, I want to go with another kind of selection. So this is the way of selecting points. So remember it. And we done with the programs, with inline, internal, external. Is there any questions with the inline, internal, external programs? We already.
Logo.
Please, sir. Tell me.
Sir, how to create logo in which CSS?
Which logo?
Sir, how to create logo with the help of CSS?
With CSS logo, how to create means I don't understand. You have to go with image tag now. See, you have to go with the image tag. Logo is always an image. Got my point? Logo is always an image. Okay, so there are multiple online tools.
We have to minimize it, reduce the size.
Yes, yes. If you want to reduce the size, you can go with the percentage mode. I will show how to create. But most of the people, how to create logos is, see, but this is not recommended. But for your practice, you can go for logo create from online. So these are the way. There are multiple websites we have. One thing is Canva, one thing is Wix.com, one thing is Luca, one is the logo maker. See, you can go with any one of the website and you can create your own logo maker, create your free logo. See, brand crowd. There are multiple websites you have. Whatever the logo you want, you can create, but that should be go with the design mode. You are not a designer, you are a developer. You people are not web designers, you are web developers basically. Web designers, people are working with Adobe, people are working with different other tools like Illustrator or all. So they will create a logo and they will give you a PNG image. You have to upload the PNG by the IMG tag. So you people are not putting efforts on creating logos, creating images. In company, there is a team called web designing team. Web designing team, people are working with Adobe, Illustrator, Adobe, different kind of tools they are using basically. They will create the things and they will provide you. You have to work with the web designing team. Always. Web developer, you people are developers, you people have to write the code. You people have to try to implement or build the page. Okay, coming to the point now. Okay, so we already done how to work with the inline, how to work with the internal, and how to work with the external. And one more time, what I want to do is I am trying to creating these three just like a backup. How to work with inline, how to work with internal, how to work with external. Then I'll go for the further concepts. Okay, all these three I'm putting in a single program. All these three I'm putting in a single program. Just try to observe. Let me open a folder. I already created a folder. Okay, 14 by 8 folder. Let me open the folder. Inside this 14 by 8 folder, I don't have any files now. Only I have a text file here. Okay, let me go and create a new file here. So this file is something like okay, writing CSS with HTML. .html. Okay, what I want to do is I will create some tags first of all. Okay, let me go with the tag called h1. Let me go with the tag called h1. So I am trying to writing something web development. I'm trying to writing one more tag called h2, and this is something like a full stack web development. Okay, for these two tags, I'm trying to writing the inline CSS first. Okay, so style, and basically I'm giving colors. Here, this is one is a red color, and this one also I'm trying to providing some style, and the color is like a blue color. See, one is the red color element, one is the blue color element. I am giving inline CSS now. You try to observe inline CSS by the style attribute. That style attribute always in the open tag, not in the closed tag. You have to work with the open tag. Okay, now I'm trying to working with the internal CSS. Internal CSS. How to write internal CSS? Anybody? How to write internal CSS? Tell me.
Style.
Yes.
Inside style tag.
Style tag. We have to work with the style tag. Let me give the comment for that. And after that, I'm trying to write list. Same H2. H2 and H1. Two selectors I want to write. For H2, I'm trying to providing a color called orange. For H1, I'm trying to providing the color called maroon. Okay, what is the spelling for maroon? Maroon spelling is M-A-R-O-O-N. Okay. So, what is the output you guess? I'm writing inline, I'm writing internal both. I am writing inline CSS and I'm writing internal CSS both. For two elements, we have only two elements.
Inline, sir.
Inline is the first output, sir. Browser always takes inline first. Why? Because we are already having individual style, element specific style. Element specific style is the first preference to the browser. Okay, let's launch the browser. Red and blue only coming. There is no concept of orange. There is no concept of maroon here. Why orange is not coming? Why maroon is not coming? Means inline CSS, element specific CSS is always first preference to the browser. Browser always recognizing inline first. Got my point? Got my point? So here I'm writing a point. Here I'm writing a point. So there is a concept called style preference. Okay, style preference concept. Okay, so the first point, if I am writing inline CSS, and internal CSS with same attribute, same property. I'm talking about same property. Okay, same property, something like a color. Which one will come to the browser first? Which one will come to the browser? Which one will come to the browser?
Inline.
Obviously inline. So that is a question actually. For this question, answer is inline CSS. Oh, So the second question, if I am writing inline CSS and second question, if I am writing inline CSS and internal properties with different properties. Okay, for example, in inline I am giving color. And in internal I am giving something like a font face. Now tell me which one will come to the browser. Both, exactly. So why? Because the property is different from inline and internal. The second question is basically here also both. Here answer is both. But when we observe with the same property, then inline property only output. But when we observe with the different properties, okay, both are working. Both will load basically. If at any case, both will load. But inline will display to you. Display purpose, inline is the first preference. Here, the second question is very simple question. If I am trying to write in inline CSS and internal CSS with different properties, in inline I am giving color, in internal I am giving font face. Yes, obviously both will load. I am not writing inline in the part of the internal in the second point. In internal I am trying to writing only font face, not color. Color coming from inline, that is fine. Or here I am giving font face. Inline I am giving color. Inline I am writing a font face. Yeah, both is okay. Let me try to observe this, the second point. Try to observe the second point. And here, okay, orange anyway not working. But here there is another property called, additional property called font family. Font family, I'm trying to giving a font family called Gilsans here. And this one also I'm giving another font family. Font family. And here I'm go with the cursive font. Now you check it out. Color is taking from inline, but font family is a separate property in the part of internal. That is the reason font family also may be changed. Can you see and observe font family got changed or not?
Yes, sir.
Font family got changed. Why? Because of, okay, color is taking from inline. Here the color and here also color is available, but first preference is inline. But font family is not available in inline. Font family available in internal. It is the meaning of when we are loading the HTML web page, inline, internal, external, everything will work. Together, everything will work. But based on the property, based on the priority is first inline CSS. If you are writing the single property. If you are writing multiple properties, that is not an issue. This is little bit confusing part, but don't confuse. This is very simple. When we are working with the single property, inline is first preference. When we are writing multiple properties, that is not a problem. That is not an issue. Okay? Everything okay? Any questions on this? Any questions on this? Okay, let me go for external CSS also. Let me go for external CSS. For external CSS, I need to create a new .css file. Let me create a new file. Let me give the name called style.css. Style.css. Okay, that's fine. First include style.css into the HTML. Style.css into the HTML means it is the linking tag, link the relevant style sheet. And href. What is the name of the file? Style.css. And let me give the name of the type of the file. This is external CSS file. Now tell me. Okay, so I don't have any code in the style.css. Let me go to the style.css and give for H1 font family. This time Times New Roman. For H2 font family. This time I am giving tribute in this. Okay. Now tell me, what is the output about the font family? Here we have font family called Gill Sans and Cursive, and here I have a font family called Times New Roman and Tribute Chat. Now tell me the output of the font. Color, okay, color coming from inline, that is not an issue. In inline color is there, color will come. But I am writing font family now. I am writing font family inside the internal and inside the external. Same property called font family. Font family I am trying to giving in inline at the same time internal. Now tell me, what is the output you guess? Which font family will come? Which font family will come? Okay, open
Internal?
in the browser. No, external. Can you see Times New Roman? This is Times New Roman. Why? Because of here in this case, when I compare with internal and external, last line is the first execution. Last line is what here? Here, fourth line, we have internal. In fourth line, we have internal started. In 10th line, I started with external. Last line is external. External will come to the browser first. If you are working with the same property. Got my point? Okay, so let me do one thing. I'll remove the font family. I'll work with the same colors. Then you can able to understand properly. I'm removing the font family here and here. Okay. I don't have inline CSS here. Just remove the inline CSS here. Okay, I don't have inline. Imagine I don't have inline. Okay, so here orange and maroon. And here I am not working with the font family, right? So just remove the font family, go with the color. I can go with a brown color. I can go with biscuit color. Biscuit, maybe it will not work out. Biscuit, very, very light one. I can go with this pink color. This one. Okay. Now, observe that I don't have inline. There is no point of question. I'm not working with inline CSS right now. I'm literally working with internal and external. Only two sections I'm writing the CSS. One is internal, one is external. In internal, we have orange and maroon. In external, we have brown and some RGB color. Now tell me, what is the output of the browser? Refresh. Can you see and observe? What is the output of the browser? Brown and some RGB color. It is actually coming from external. Why? Because of last line is first execution to you. Okay, so I am doing one simple magic here. I am cut this external CSS and keeping external CSS in 4th line and internal CSS in 7th line. Now tell me what is output. It's very simple. Last line is the first execution. What is the last line here? Last line is internal CSS. Obviously, internal CSS will come to the browser. Refresh the browser. Can you see and observe? What colors came here? Orange and maroon. Orange and maroon colors. Okay, let's change this to some RGB. Some blue, little bit, some thick blue color. Can you see and observe? One thick blue and one orange. Okay, now come to the point. Let me go to the notes now. Let me write the notes. The last point, what we have, the last point is. Okay, so here answer is inline, that is fine. And one more point I written. Here answer is what? Both
Both.
will work. Both will work. Okay. Now, third question. If I don't have inline CSS, if I don't have inline CSS for any property, if I don't have inline CSS for any property, but I am writing a common property, I am writing a common property in internal and external. Which will load first? See, third question is very simple and very important. Tell me the answer of this. If I am not writing inline CSS, if I don't have inline CSS, and for any property,
External.
if I don't have inline CSS for any property, but I am writing a common property in internal and external, which will load first?
External.
Here the answer is very simple answer. No. Last line is the first execution. Last line is the first execution. It means what? Okay, for example, it means what? For example, if I am writing internal, then external. Tell me. First I am writing internal, then I am writing external. External will load first.
External load will load first.
Yes, external will load first. This is style preference. This is very, very important. In any YouTube channel or any blog, this kind of explanation, this kind of way, they don't give actually. Go with the YouTube channels. Style preference, nobody tells. Okay, next external, then internal. Then which will be the first execution to the browser? Internal will load first. But my point, answer, we got answer. Huh? We got answer for the third question.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's fine. So first question is very simple. If I'm writing inline CSS and internal CSS, the same property, inline is the first preference to the browser. If I'm writing inline CSS, internal CSS with the different properties, both will work. If I don't have inline CSS for any property, last line is the first execution. That is the one. Inline then internal, internal, external, external first. External, internal first. That's a very simple thing. Okay, this is the first important point you people have to remember. See, I am just referring by the tag name here. This is the one simple process. I am referring by the tag name only. I am not actually working with the classes. I am not working with IDs. I am just referring with the tag name here and here. But for the tag name is different, class name is different, ID is different. The reference type is also different. Now we try to work with the reference types, like a selectors. 3 important selector types I have right now. Selectors and types.
Sir, one doubt.
Yes, please.
So in CSS file, you gave one color, and after that, in last this third point you told when you reverse that. So, so inside that I not understood when you written blue color and maroon, and here you have given brown. So I have confusion in that. Means
Okay, then okay. Let me go with
when you reverse that.
Just wait. Let me go with only H1. I don't have H2. Okay. Only H1.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here also we have the only H1. Only H1. I don't have H2. Just remember this. Sir, people will listen one thing. The session is going to end in 1 minute. Please join one more time. Okay. So color, I just want to give the red color. Which color is available for the internal? Which color is available for internal? H1.
Red color.
Red color. Okay, let me go here. H1, here I am deleting this one, and here I am giving blue. Here I am giving blue. Okay, we are working with only red and blue. Where red is available?
HTML file.
No. Red is available in internal.
Internal CSS.
Blue is available from external. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So, but I am writing in the HTML file. First I am loading external. Then I am loading internal. Line by line. Check line by line now. This is third line. This is sixth line.
Okay, sir. Means if you are writing external above, so first it will take
Yes,
that
yes,
CSS
yes.
file color.
Yes.
And if we write this line down,
Yes.
and
so now
same
last
color is there, then
now last line is first execution. What is the last line here?